Welcome to session 9, which deals with ethics. As indicated in the introductory lecture, the course is made up of 2 parts. That is the corporate social responsibility aspect and ethics. And here we are interested in the application aspect of ethics. By way of session overview, we will try to discuss ethics and its application in business. We shall also try to understand what ethics is about and the various viewpoints on ethics. The session will also explain various ethical theories and how it is applied in business. Historical perspectives and the enforcement of ethics are presented. The link between ethics, corporate social responsibility shall be discussed in this session. The session objectives are as follows. We should be able to explain what ethics is, understand and apply ethics in business settings, understand and apply principles of ethics in business settings, be able to understand theories underpinning ethics, and understand argumentation and how to present arguments. Session outline is as follows. First, what is ethics? The origins of ethics, enforcement of ethics, corporate social responsibility and ethics, CSR, and philanthropy. There are several definitions of ethics. And some selected definitions for this session are as follows. According to Brady, ethics refers to those standards or morals a person set for himself or herself regarding what is good and bad or right and wrong. Ethics is also seen as an individual personal beliefs regarding what is right and wrong or good or bad. Distinguishing ethics from involuntary actions, carefully reason out options. The need for ethical behavior has resulted in the formation of a code of ethics for various occupations or organizations. Example, teachers and doctors. Now, the origins of ethics comes from religious doctrines, law, science, study of society, and power of authority. There are several theories of ethics. For instance, we have the deontological ethics. And the deontological ethics talks about actions and right or wrong in themselves. This we are aware of without being told, thus making legitimate the claim that there is an underlying innate code of ethics that must be obeyed or upheld. The problems with this position are concerned with how we know which acts are wrong and how we distinguish between a wrong act and an omission. The other aspect of ethics is teleological ethics. Another theory of ethics is teleological ethics. And this one argues that what determines a good act is the outcome of that act. Therefore, if the outcome is good, then the act is deemed as good. It distinguishes between the right and the good, with the right encompassing those actions which maximize the good. It is the expression, the end justify the means. We also have the utilitarianism, another theory of ethics. And it is similar to that of the teleological view of ethics. It posits that outcomes are all that matter in determining what is good, and that the way in which a society achieves an ultimate good is through each person pursuing his or her own self-interest. The philosophy says that the aggregation of all of this self-interest and automatically lead to the what? The maximum good for society, for a larger society. Another theory of ethics is what we call the ethical egoism. The ethical egoism. And this theory argues that ethical egoism supports the view that all people are selfish at heart. And it argues that even those who try to say they are helping society eventually are projecting their own image. So ethical egoism basically tries to say that we are all selfish at heart, and even those who try to say they are supporting society are selfish, are a kind of trying to project their own image, and at the end of the day, it's about themselves and not really trying to help the society. There are other forms of ethics that we must also be aware of, like Machiavellism, the Machiavellism. And here, it is another form of teleological ethics. And it is the extreme form where with this one, it is the end justifies the means. And sometimes it is the extreme case of theological aspect of ethics, whereby, for instance, somebody can kill to achieve the what? A result. This is an extreme form of Machiavellism. You can read further on the slides provided on Sakai. They also have the virtue ethics. It emphasizes on individuals' moral character rather than societal obligations or the consequences of acting or not acting. Virtue ethics believe that people do good things because they have developed the virtues that lead them to do so. And virtues can include a wide range of attitudes and character traits such as compassion, courage, honesty, loyalty, generosity, and responsibility. There are also ethical relativism and objectivism. More material is available on the Sakai platform on these issues. So far as ethics is concerned, you can read further on them, but I'll broadly touch on the relativism and objectivism. Now, relativism is the denial that there are certain universal truths or moral principles, and it has two forms. We have the conventionalism and then the what? The subjectivism. You can read further on this in material being provided on the Sakai platform. Now, when we talk of objectivism, as I said, is it holds the view that there are certain actions that are intrinsically, universally, and unconditionally unethical. Now, ethics and business. There is a need for business managers to achieve organizational objectives while being what? Ethical. For example, one classic study of business ethics reported that at some point in their career, 75% of responding managers felt a conflict between profit and consideration of being ethical. Later studies noted that the majority of managers also felt that there was pressure to be unethical. So in terms of these theories, for us as business people, it is important that we operate based on ethical principles. Forms of unethical practices, there are several ways by which companies' actions can be deemed unethical. For instance, manufacture of unwholesome products. If you put out unwholesome products in the market, for example, expired products, it's unethical. Also, illegal business practices, engaging in illegal practices, that is, business practices that the law do not allow, then it is considered unethical. Method of management. Organized criminal management is also unethical, an example being the Enron accounting scandal. Business and sex can also constitute an ethical practice. That is, using sex to solicit business is considered an ethical business practice. The Enron scandal that we talk about, there are several instances in Ghana where tax evasion and as a result of collusion between tax collectors and those who are supposed to pay tax, sometimes businesses engage in that to evade what? Tax. And that constitutes an ethical business practice. There are several benefits that companies would drive when they benefit ethically. And I'll mention some of them here. First, ethical organizations enable members lead good lives in the real sense of the word. It is a source of pride to work with an organization that is considered ethical. It easily acquires a good business reputation. It wins the trust of its stakeholders. It fosters among its employees an attitude of commitment to the firm's interests. These factors can turn out to be a source of competitive advantage for the firm. Companies will also pay heavily for unethical practices. Some of them are mentioned as follows: increased regulation or government supervision of operations, expenses for implementing mandated safety or remedial measures, consumer boycotts of products and services, loss of trust among customers, stakeholders, employees, and potential investors, and bankruptcy. Managers are also at various stages insofar as their ethical development are concerned. I'll mention a few of them here, and you can do further reading on Sakai platform on some of these issues. For instance, Kohlberg provided stages by which the mental development of managers can go through. I will entreat you to visit the Sakai, your UG Sakai platform to read further on Kohlberg's 73 and 76 classification of managers' mental development. So far as ethical development is concerned, as he classified them into pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Visit the UG Sakai platform and read further materials on this.